Hey everyone, Kyle once again, aka Drives the Godzilla fan. Welcome back to another review. Hope you all have had a happy holiday. Merry Christmas. Anyway, I'm getting to back to my movie reviews. I decided to review this kind of film, which takes place during the since the New Year's are coming around shortly, and figure I do a film that kind of takes place during the New Year's Eve. And this is a film. This is an old film that I really always do enjoy. I think it's either one or my all-time favorite disaster films. The Poseidon Adventure. This is the original 1972 film that started with a star-studded cast of great actors. The Poseidon Adventure, starring Gene Hackman, Ernest Borgnine, Red Buttons, Lynley, Roddy McDowall, Stella Stevens, Shelley Winters, Jack Albertson, Pamela Sue Martin, Arthur Connell, Eric Shea, and Leslie Nielsen. And it's also produced by Irwin Allen, who has produced and directed a lot of disaster films. One that he directed the Swarm with Michael Caine. He also directed the sequel to this film called Beyond the Poseidon Adventure. Also directed When Time Ran Out. But he was also a producer on the Towering Inferno, which is another disaster film I really do enjoy, with Paul Newman and Steve McQueen. But this is to me is one of my all-time favorite disaster films. Poseidon Adventure. Hell upside down, the tagline there. And I even got the poster. I have the poster right here, nicely framed. I like the poster. Here's it shows up here. Hell upside down at midnight on New Year's Eve. The SS Poseidon was struck by a 90-foot tidal wave and capsized. Who will survive in one of the greatest escapes adventures ever? So, just want to show that. And this is the DVD here. This is the special 2-disc edition. Has on disc 1 has two commentaries. One commentary with the director, Ronald, Neame. A full-length audio commentary with Pamela Sue Martin, Stella Stevens, and Lynley. And also has an interactive follow the escape feature, access 3D views of the schematics of the ship. You watch the film as you watch the film. Disc 2 has more features. Has 9 featurettes. The cast looks back, falling up with Ernest Borgnine. The Heart of Disaster, Sterling Sylphant. The Heroes of Poseidon, The Morning After Story, the RMS Queen Mary, Sinking Corridor, Generations of Fans, Turning Over the Ship, and as AMC Backstory of the Poseidon Adventure, Storyboard to Film Corporation comparisons, interactive article, American choreographer, and still photo galleries, and the teaser and the trailer, much more. There's a small booklet right here. Small booklet right there. Has also contains lobby cards in here too. It contains lobby cards here with the cast and stuff. Just want to try to get this out. Don't want to rip the envelope. Yeah, like photo cards for the cast. lot of good. Like a lot of good things on here. These lobby cards. I'll just put that back in a second. But I really do enjoy this film. I would say this is one of my all-time favorite disaster films, or the all-time favorite disaster films for me. But it's like I said, with all these great casts, music by John Williams too. I like the score to John Williams, who go on to do the score for pretty much all of Steven Spielberg's films, and he even did the music for the Towering Inferno as well. So the story is you have the ship, the SS Poseidon, who is sailing from New York to Athens, Greece. I think it's Athens, Greece. And what I like about you get introduced to all. You get introduced to all the characters, what their stories are about, like you get Leslie Nielsen years before he did comedies with Airplane and stuff like that. This is before he did comedy. Leslie Nielsen as the captain, which I like Leslie. I like sometimes it's always like Leslie Nielsen in funny films, but it's also nice to see Leslie Nielsen before he did comedy, more serious roles, He's the captain, and there's this guy on this ship who's like the owner representative. He says, who's kind of a jerk about because the captain, he wants to take it nice and smooth, to have safe traveling, but the guy orders the captain to go full ahead, speed the ship to get there represent on time. Leslie Nielsen, the captain, he does not like that. He doesn't want to risk the safety of his passengers, and the guy kind of threatens him to have him relieved of being captain. He says, "I must remind you, I have my rights to relieve you of command. Three other people on here have their master's license. Now order full ahead." and I like when then the captain goes, "You responsible bastard." So then he orders to keep his job. He orders to full ahead. Then he also introduced all the other characters. You have Ernest Borgnine, who's a cop, and his wife, played by Stella Stevens. Yeah. His wife, who I think she was like a hooker or a prostitute, I think, because he explained, how there was a conversation where Ernest Borgnine was talking to his wife, he's afraid how she might see some guys who she might think it was a former customer, because Ernest Borgnine said he just pull her off the streets a lot, you arrested me six times, Why? And he says, well, I had to get you off the streets until you married me. And I really love Ernest Borgnine. It's a shame that he's no longer with us now. And I loved Ernest Borgnine, and mostly for the kids, Ernest Borgnine voiced Mermaid Man on SpongeBob, Yeah, and it's a shame, and I miss Ernest Borgnine, especially I liked him in other films like his short appearance in Red, John Carpenter's Escape from New York, and just so much others though. And it was the story where we get introduced to him. His wife is sick, just laying in bed, and the doctor gives her some of these pills, and is like, I think I know what this is. It's food poisoning. That's what it is. I still think it's food poisoning. And his wife tells him, "Oh, shut up." And I just like how the cast works, And then you have Red Buttons, who's a singular bachelor, he's he's a single bachelor, and And you get to introduce Shelley Winters and Jack Albertson. Jack Albertson, who played Grandpa Joe from Willy Wonka of the Chocolate Factory and voiced Amos Slade and The Fox and the Hound. Shelley, and they're both retired people worked in a hardware store. They're retired now, and they're on their way to Athens, to meet their grandson for the first time. Then you introduce then Carol Lynley, who's a singer she's in the band she sings on the ship, and they're on their way to this a jazz festival, I think. Roddy McDowall, who's a waiter on the ship. Pamela Sue Martin and Eric Shea, their brother and sister, they're taking the ride on the ship to meet the parents in Athens. Eric Shea, he has looking through all the ship, visiting the engine room and where the parts of the ships are, and then he introduces the star Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman, who plays as Reverend Scott, who I think he did a really great job, who's just he questions the faith of God, and thinking about people you should help themselves out without God's help, and I like how he's given his the ceremony, the speech, talking to the people is God wants you to be strong. He wants winners, not quitters, And then comes later on to tonight, where it's getting close to New Year's Eve, and they count it down, and when New Year's Eve time, they celebrate New Year's Eve, and the captain is up on the bridge, and he sees the 90-foot tidal wave, He orders hard left, but it was too late, and then the ship gets capsized, flipped upside down. So then Leslie Nielsen dies, yeah. Then you got all the other survivors, and they're in the big dining room, where Pamela Sue Martin as Susan, she gets she's still up top of the table that's still attached to the floor, which is upside down. They grab a curtain, just make it like a trampoline, a safety net sort of way, Then she jumps down, they catch her. Then this big Christmas tree falls down, and you see Roddy McDowall as Acres. He's still on top of the balcony, and so Red Button suggested to the Reverend that it's better if we go up, because any rescue attempt, they have to come to the hall. So they agree to the idea, they get the big Christmas tree, to lean against the side of the balcony so they can climb up where Roddy McDowall is. Roddy McDowall, of course, played Peter Vincent in the original Fright Night Part 1 and 2 and the original Planet of the Apes. So all the other main cast, they go up there, but the rest of the people they want to stay down. They stay down and wait for help arrives, but until I like this moment where where Jack Albertson and Shelley Winters, she originally wanted to stay there, and wait, but Reverend persuades her to keep on going, because what's up there? Life is up there. And so when they told everyone calls the Christmas tree, and she gets stuck, and Gene Hackman, just gives her a push from behind. He's like, "Excuse me for getting so familiar," and Shelley Winters like, "Well, what else could you do, Mrs. Peter Pan? I'm not." So the rest of the main cast, they go up there, except for Arthur O'Connell, who is his other Reverend. He stays there. The ship gets exploding, and explodes a hole in the floor down there, and the water comes plundering in, and everyone down there panics, and they're causing the Christmas tree to fall. So Gene Hackman knows they're all dead, so he slowly shuts the door behind them. So they get to the kitchen. They make their way to the kitchen. Then they go to this part of the stairs where it's upside down. They all climb up. Then they get to this so kind of a crawl space to the furnace area, you know, the shaft. As they're all climbing up, there was another explosion, and sadly, Roddy McDowall, he dies, and he falls. Because before he has an injured leg though, and he tries to hop on away by climbing the ladder, but when the ship has another explosion, he falls back into the water, and there's an explosion, and Roddy McDowall sadly dies. Ernest Borgnine tried to save him by diving in after him, but no good. So yeah, I like Roddy McDowall, especially being a fan of him. You know, in the original Fright Night, Part 1 and 2, and the original Planet of the Apes. You know, it's sad that he dies. You know. And then, so the Gene Hackman they climb their way up to the next couple of floors, and they see more people, led by the ship's doctor, and they're going towards the bow, and he assists the bowel's underwater, but the doctor will not listen. Like when the Reverend goes, "You're going the wrong way, damn it!" So and then he knows that Acre is dead, you know, and she starts to get mad at Ernest Borgnine, you know, and he's like, "Oh, okay, you know, he was hurt. The boat tilted and he fell. The shaft blew up and he's dead, and that's it. Or do you want to make something more out of it?" And now the Gene Hammond goes, "I told you I was going to get everybody there, and goddamn it, I'm going to do it." So, Ernest Borgnine thinks that they go where the people are, but Gene Hackman says they're going to go to the engine room where it's not flooded, you know. And yes, you got 15 minutes, or we're going forward. So he goes and checks it out. Of course, he makes it back, and it's completely clear. So they go his way, but as they're going down, there's this part that's underwater, so they're going to have to swim through it. So he grabs a rope, so make sure, you know, if he gets one end, he'll pull on the rope. But then as he goes underwater, a piece of metal falls on top of him, and he can't get out. And Shelley Winters, who used to be a swimming champion, she dives in after him. Sets him free, and they reach the other end. But then all of a sudden, Shelley Winters suffers a heart attack, and before she dies, tells Gene Hackman to tell her husband give this necklace to her grandson, and she dies, and Gene Hackman cries and is saying, "Oh no, not this woman, not this woman." And Ernest Borgnine goes after to see what's going on, and tells him that she's dead, you know, and she tells him tell him nothing happened. But as he goes, he thanks her, saying, you know, "Had a lot of guts, lady, a lot of guts." But he was worried. Mr. Rosen, Jack Albertson, he jumps in, you know, tells him to follow the rope, and everyone else swims. But Carolyn Lynley as Nani, she can't swim, so Red Buttons, she said that, "I'm not gonna leave you here. If you stay, I'll stay." But she'll hold on to Red Buttons to swim across, you know. And Jack Albertson as Mr. Rosen, he sees that Belle is dead, and you know, everyone sees that, you know, and is like, look, Mrs. Rosen is dead. There's nothing we can do to bring her back. You know, all the best is to go forward. That's what she would have wanted. And Mr. Rosen said he was going to stay, though, but Gene Hackman, he gives Reverend Scott, he gives him the necklace that his wife told him to give to his grandson, and that keeps him to move on, you know. Then as they're coming top, there's which is their exit. There's another explosion, and Stella Stevens, she falls down to her death, and And Ernest Borgnine is he gets all angry, Linda, no, and he blames the Reverend, saying that we thought we had a chance, but you did, well, we don't have a chance. You killed her, And another explosion causes the hot steam to spray on the handle where which turns the door and it's blocking their escape. And I like how Reverend Gene Hackman he blames God for doing this to them, Like, Marty, what more do you want from us? We come all this way, no thanks to you. We did it on our own, no help from you. We didn't ask you to fight for us. But don't fight against us. Leave us alone. How many more sacrifices? How much more blood? How many more lives? Val was enough. Acres wasn't. Now this girl. You want another life? Then take me. So he jumps onto this big red handle that turns off all the hot steam, and it's burning his hands. But he tells him Rogo, Ernest Borgnine, to get them through. But then he sacrifices himself in this water that's on fire, And which I thought that was a very sad death, It was very sad for all the deaths of the main characters, but like Roddy McDowall and Stella Stevens and Shelley Winters. But it was a very sad death, and I just hate that what happened to Gene Hackman. He was given a great performance of trying to get these people out of here, then he sacrificed himself to help them escape. Though it was sad that Gene Hackman had to die, but and then Susan Pamela Sue Martin cries over his death, and Red Buns just like slaps her and tells her to put herself together. And he tells Ernest Borgnine, you are the Reverend. You told us to get us through. Well, go ahead. And he tells him, what kind of policeman were you? You got nothing but beef, and always negative, But now's your chance to do something about it. Now, do something positive for a change. But then Ernest Borgnine, he says, yes, he will get him through, and opens the door. And then they reach at the dead end where the hall is, and they hear knocking on top, and they start banging, hey, And there is more knocking. They're cutting through, and they all look and all wait for that they are now rescued, And that and then Ernest Borgnine, he looks back in the engine room, either he looks back where his wife died, or thinking that the Reverend was right all along, probably felt sorry for them, but I think it's both ways, Either he felt sorry for a Reverend, and he also felt, and over his wife's death, And so they all get rescued onto the rescue chopper, and then the boat still hasn't sunk yet, it's still hanging upside down, but they all got rescued to the chopper, and that's in the movie. So yes, I love the Poseidon Adventure. I really do. This is one of those classic disaster adventure films that I've ever seen. I love the tower. If I would pick, also, I'll put the Towering Inferno at number 2 of my favorite disaster films. Number 2, the Towering Inferno. But this I'll pick as my favorite all-time favorite disaster film. Because there's no good disaster films like this anymore. Because pretty much like. I guess when the 80s were, I guess like there were less disaster films when it came up to the 80s, because Irwin Allen, he's been directing disaster films since, like The Swarm and when Time Ran Out and Beyond Poseidon Adventure. Those are all box office flops, and that's when the time when the disaster films like this were dying out. So. And even you see stuff on Sci-Fi Channel, apocalyptic disasters on Sci-Fi Channel, those are just way beyond terrible, But I enjoy the Poseidon Adventure. I would say the cast did an excellent job. I don't say there's not one bad actor in the group, I love Gene Hackman. I love the entire cast, Everyone does a great job in this film. And this film was nominated for a lot of awards. You know, it was nominated for, I would say, how much? 8. Sorry, it was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, and it won. And it won for best original song. The morning after, that was a song that Lynley was singing. But it was nominated also not for for best production design, best original score, costume design, sound, cinematography, filming, and supporting actress Shelley Winters. And really enough, she didn't win the Shelley Winters. She didn't win the Academy Award though, but she won the Golden Globe Award for best supporting actress. And then Gene Hackman, he won a BAFTA award for best actor. He deserves it, and so does Shelley Winters. I don't know what I could say. This film was even though it also was the film was a big box office success. From what I'm reading, it's like a $4.7 million budget, and it was a huge success on a worldwide of 93 million. So it was a big box office hit. And then it spawned a sequel. It was a success. 7 years later, 1972 and 79, Irwin directed the sequel called Beyond Poseidon Adventure. But unfortunately, that film was a box office failure, and also critics hated it too. Even though it had a good cast too, like Michael Caine, Sally Field, Peter Boyle. But that film didn't make the money though. And then there was also a remake, you know, with that, I guess it was like a TV film remake of the same name that starred Rutger Hauer, I think C. Thomas Howell, and Steve Guttenberg. I haven't seen it though. I have no interest in seeing it though. Even though I do like Rutger Hauer, C. Thomas Howell, and Steve Guttenberg though, but I haven't seen it though. But then in 2006 came to me like the real remake, you know, called Poseidon, that starred Kurt Russell, Richard Dreyfuss, Josh Lucas. You know, that was directed by Wolfgang Peterson, who directed Troy and The Perfect Storm, in The Line of Fire. That film was also a big box office bomb though, but even though I don't know, it was like so-so on Poseidon though, but it doesn't even come close as what the original film was. Because you got a lot of good actors in that film though, but this is much more bigger star-studded cast in this film, you know. And all the other disaster films had a big star-studded cast, you know, like Towering Inferno and Earthquake, you know, The Swarm. Even though I like Earthquake, even though I didn't like what happened to Charlton Heston, though. But anyway, yeah. Well, I don't know what I can say though. It's also based on the book, and I've read the book. You know, I have the book and I've read it by Paul Gallico. It was a pretty good book though, but I would say I like the film more though. Everyone does listen. Spend the lobby cards. But I don't know what I could say. I like the two disc edition, you know, and I don't know what I could say. The Poseidon Adventure, great disaster film, one of the most classic ones of all time. Classic disaster films, and I'll say it's one of my all-time favorite disaster films of all time as well. And let's say I got the poster right here. Everyone in the cast does a great job. I think I'll repeating myself again though, but why not? Because when you love film and the cast does a great job, why not? So, so anyway, this is the Poseidon Adventure. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next movie review. Later.